Something recently fell apart for something better to fall together. So recently there was something that you had thought was a part of your path. It was a part of what you thought you needed to move forward, or what you thought was always going to be something in alignment in your life. And the universe has kind of pulled that away. May it be that you stopped receiving clients through that. May it be that this is a relationship that ended that you thought was going to be in your life like long term. This is something that you really like thought was going to be aligned with you for a very long period of time. And the universe had to kind of take this off your path so that it could put something else in your path. So you've been manifesting like this new beginning, and this like new life. May it be like a new job, or may it be like a new partnership. You've been manifesting something new. And whatever this was that was removed, it could not come with you. And I do see that this thing that was removed did bring like a lot of like sadness and feeling left out in the cold, and a lot of like, I'm hearing frustration towards the universe of like why, like not understanding really why this had to happen this way or where this was coming from. And feeling just really like defeated is the other thing that keeps coming up. So, they're asking you to be able to surrender and try to see this from a higher perspective, to try to be able to acknowledge that things that are removed so that you can learn to live without them first off, so that something else better can come in its place. So this happened because whatever this was actually was not aligned to you, and it was bringing in a lot of like internal conflict. It was causing like a lot of like issues for you internally. And I know that that may have been normal for you in some ways, so maybe hard for you to see, but really that conflict wasn't something that could come with you into the next chapter that you're like manifesting and wanting for yourself. So this end of a cycle had to happen so that something else could come in better and take its place. And so with the ending of this thing, and I'm hearing like it was kind of ripped out from underneath you in some ways. And I do hear like that you fought this for a while, like you really, really wanted to keep this thing, and it really just was not aligned anymore. And it wasn't, it was time for you to move forward. So it was time to let go. And this thing that happened was meant to like teach you lessons and like help you to understand like what you deserve, and actually what brings you happiness and joy, and like how to turn in towards yourself and come into a better balance of divine masculine, divine feminine energy. So we have both those energies inside of us, and this was meant to kind of put you back into balance, because whatever this was actually pulling you out of balance. So this was meant to like put you back into balance so that you could, transform and really be able to learn the lessons that needed to happen in that cycle that you were holding on so tightly to, so that you could walk into like a new beginning and a new cycle. And I do see that like surrender has been really difficult for you, and just like kind of trusting the process and recognizing like that everything happens the way that it's supposed to. You've been holding on really tightly, and they're asking you to learn to release a little bit and to learn to let go of that. Because this needs to be released for you to be able to move forward. There is a bit of like your pride getting in the way. I'm hearing pride or ego getting in the way of this. I feel like whatever was pulled away was kind of like a hit to your ego or pride. And that is part of what's making it difficult for you to like release this and let this go. I do think this is something that you like spent a lot of time with. May it be like a long-term relationship or a career you built like over the course of a lot of years, a lot of time, sweat, hours, right? And so I do understand why you're feeling that way, but this needs to go for you to let the new in. And you've been working really hard to be able to bring in this new energy and this new full energy, this new beginning. And you have to be able to release to be able to let it in. So they're just asking you to trust the universe, trust divine source, whatever you call it, to know that this is bringing in something better that is much more aligned. And when you're able to fully be in balance internally with your masculine and feminine energy, that is going to usher this new thing in. You've been doing a lot of work around this to begin with, so this isn't something that's completely like off your path. You've already started doing some of this internal work and internal shifting, and like facing your shadow and like doing that like rebalancing work. So this isn't exactly like something that's coming out of nowhere or brand new. I just don't think that you expected things to play out the way that they did, and I don't think you expected this thing to be removed in the way that it was. But for you to be able to make space for what you want to bring in, you have to be able to release this and let it go and try to see like the higher perspective of it so that you can move forward. And this is bringing in something that's going to be really joyful and exciting. It's going to really tap into your inner child part of yourself. I do see that this kind of like knocked some fear for you, like, because I feel like this was something that was like what you assumed or felt like was stable or maintained and kept you stable, and that's part of why it's being pulled away, is because you're needing to learn how to stand on your own without relying on other things for stability. May that be a career, may that be a partnership, it doesn't matter what it is, but you're kind of being asked right now on a soul level to learn how to stand strong and stable within yourself without leaning on those external things to make you feel better, bring you joy, like fix things for you, right? Like it's about you learning to stand in sovereignty. That's kind of what they call it. So sovereignty is like being able to recognize that only you matter and that you're the only thing that you need to truly be happy in this world. And so this is kind of like the lesson that you're being asked to move through and face right now, and recognize that like, and kind of unlearn, right? Like that, you know, you are your job or your career or whatever your title is, right? You think about it, as Americans, we walk into a room and people ask us, the first question is, what do you do for work, right? So this is like asking you to like release that label, that identity isn't you. And you are so much more than that identity. And that identity doesn't inform if you're worthy or not. Just like a relationship doesn't inform if you're worthy or not. And I think this is kind of like what they want you to learn right now, is like that you, like regardless of if you're, and that's another thing in our society that's coming through. So regardless of if you're in a relationship or not, that doesn't change your value. It doesn't make you more or less valuable or more or less important or more or less lovable. And so this is like what you're being asked to do, is kind of like move away from this idea that these things external to you inform who you are on a soul level, and inform like how whole you are on your own. So the big lesson here, I'm hearing wholeness, is learning how to like be within your wholeness and stand within your wholeness without depending on other things to provide that for you or other people to provide that for you. I'm seeing that, you know, the color blue is significant here. I'm also seeing that moon cycles are kind of important. So it feels like whoever I'm talking to has been going through this shift and transition throughout the different moon cycles, and really does notice that like certain things are being released at certain points in time. It feels like very much like a cosmic kind of trigger. So it's very much like a trigger from up above that's kind of happening around here. I'm going to say what I heard before because it's coming up again, but there's this idea of like your soul signed on to this contract, and it's signed on for you to learn this lesson in this lifetime. And so that's kind of why you're being pushed in this direction, even though it's really uncomfortable. It's feeling like this has been something that has been in the works for a little while, and they've been trying to guide you through this, because you're not supposed to be where you were. You're supposed to be somewhere else. And there's some part of you deep down that I think is aware of this and knows this. But it's not easy to release the stuff external to us, and it feels really difficult for sure. And also you're being asked to unlearn everything that we are taught in society, right? About like what brings us happiness or what happiness is supposed to look like. A lot of the times we're taught it's like when you check all the boxes, you'll be happy. I'm here to tell you that that's not true. As a therapist for many years, people are not happy when they check all the boxes, but they're even worse on themselves and harder on themselves because they think that they check the boxes they should be happy, so then they beat themselves up for not being happy, right? It's this very, very toxic cycle when you think about it, which is just very interesting. But I do see that like when you are able to surrender and focus on yourself and choose yourself and take care of yourself and see yourself truly for how worthy and lovable and beautiful you truly are, you will be bringing this other thing in. But there is a surrender that needs to happen here. And what I mean by that, it's giving it to God is kind of what I heard. So giving it to source, giving it to divine, releasing it and recognizing that's what's meant for you cannot miss you. 11:11 on my timer when I just looked up, which is interesting. So this is really trying to put you back into alignment. It's feeling like you've been out of alignment. And so this is pushing you back into alignment so that the wheel can start turning in your favor. I'm hearing that you've looked around and you've seen other people obtain all these things that you've wanted in your life, and you've asked yourself, why not me? When's my time going to be? And this is what you're being asked to move through to kind of get you into alignment so that you can finally start to obtain and receive the things that you've been wanting, that you've been manifesting, that you know that you deserve within this world, that you've seen for yourself, and that you've seen for yourself on your highest timeline. So this is kind of realigning you to that higher timeline that you agreed to kind of like be able to reach during this lifetime. And it's not an easy path, nor is it easy to like get to the point of surrender, but I do see that like over time you are getting better at it and you are able to release more and more. It's just really about being able to recognize that these things are happening for you, not to you, and moving out of that kind of like lack mindset that you have been stuck in for a long time. It looks like maybe like 10 years of your life, if not longer. Life is not supposed to be difficult, and it's not supposed to be in constant conflict. And if that's the case, then you're not in alignment with what you truly desire and who you truly are, on a soul level, right? So I do hope this was helpful, and if it does resonate with you, you can leave me a heart in the bottom in the comments. And if you'd like a private reading, you can go ahead and book with me in my link online and take a peek. I also offer coaching for empowerment coaching for helping with this kind of stuff, and spiritual guided work associated with this as well. But I just want you to know that like the path may seem like it's been really long and difficult, but you're so close. You're so close to the end. You've done so much work at this point in time. You are like almost there. So just keep going. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep taking that next step forward. Keep releasing what is not meant for you so that you can make space for what is. And just know that the universe, source, divine, God has got your back. They're behind you this whole way. And what is meant for you can never, ever, ever, ever miss you. Okay? Love and light.